Hello and welcome to Slow Pit Stop, the international Formula One podcast by fans for fans all around the world. My name's Arafat, and as always, I'm joined by my co-host Mohammed. Say hi, Mohammed.
I'm slightly dead inside.
That's good. And speaking of places that are slightly dead inside, all the way from Canada, it's Canadian Adam.
Also slightly dead inside.
Okay, before we get into the Monaco Grand Prix, I've got a list of things from Google that I'm going to go through. And there's 3 or 4 things on this list. I'm going to read them to you, and I want you to tell me something about them. So I've said, what are the most boring punishments in the world? So number 1, white torture. This involves a prisoner's cells, clothes, and even food being entirely white. Guards wear white, lights are kept on 24/7, and no words are spoken. The lack of visual or auditory stimuli can be incredibly distressing. Would you rather have this or watch the Monaco Grand Prix?
I have to do white torture every time.
I'd find ways of entertaining myself. I'd sing songs. Right, next. Long periods of solitary confinement. Would you rather have this or...
No. I definitely take that over Monaco. Monaco is a lot worse. You get to watch all these rich people having fun on their yachts. That is actually worse than solitary confinement.
If I have to hear Alex Jakes pretend to get excited about qualifying when he knows people have a second or maybe even third run in the bag still.
That was so annoying. That was actually so annoying because I forgot that there were other cars coming in behind. Mm-hmm. So initially when he's like, Leclerc's on pole, I was like, oh, that's it. We've got it. And then he's like, and Lando's finishing his run. I was like, oh, come on. Like, you can't. That's such a tease.
Not a one-off.
You can't do that.
He knows what he's doing.
Number 3. Repetitive or menial tasks. Prison work programs require constant repetition at the same task without any variety. It can be mentally draining. I don't see how that's any difference to the Grand Prix. Yeah.
I mean, the only thing worse was the actual driver experience. Given like the interviews that they gave, it sounds like they felt even more strongly about, like George, I think. If he hadn't made that illegal overtake, he would have just driven off into the harbor.
Yeah. Right, so shall we get into it? We have no structure to discuss this race because historically we've never ever liked it. I've never liked Monaco. It's fun to play on the PlayStation, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But to watch the race is an awful experience. Do you know what I do love watching? Still, like qualifying laps, the onboard ones, especially the ones, like I know the Halo's an important device, I'm not arguing against the Halo, but when you watch some of the old ones where the Halo's not obstructing the view, I remember when, Cubits and the bright yellow Renault and stuff, some of these laps are amazing to watch. And I think somehow Monaco needs to have qualifying and then no race.
I was going to get to that later too and talk about, because every year, we talk this is our 5th season. We've reviewed Monaco 4 times because it was canceled in the first 2020. But we have reviewed Monaco 4 times, and every single time, all we do is talk about how to improve it. So let's talk about how to improve it. But before we get into that, I do want to show you guys, do you have Panera Bread in Canada / the UK?
Yeah,
what bread?
Tends to only be in depressing parts of the city, like suburbia. Like in Toronto.
What's Panera Bread?
So Panera Bread is like it's like a fast casual restaurant. Like it's not exactly fast food. You can sit down and have a sit down food. It's got good, it's like soups and salads and pastas. But one of the things, so there's a Panera Bread in our hospital. And one of the things they've done, which I think is a big mistake, is they've offered for $5 a month unlimited drinks. And so I have been abusing that. And one drink is like $2.50 anyway, so you just need to get like 2 of them to make it worth it. And I think I'm on my 20th drink this month. So I've got this, and it's supposed to be an iced tea, but it's literally liquid sugar. And I feel like I'm going to actively raise my A1C drinking this.
But it's not the lemonade that kills you. That's gone now, right?
No, and that's so upsetting because listen, only one person died from that caffeinated lemonade. Okay, the caffeine levels were so high, it killed a person.
Whoa.
But for people like me who need caffeine to get through the day, that drink was the perfect blend. It was like 800 milligrams caffeine, 1% juice, and I got to ride through. But no, they don't have that anymore.
So in hospitals here, they don't sell drinks with sugar in them. Like if you go to the vending machine, it's all sugar-free stuff, and even like the little W.H. Smith or whatever,
so sweet.
They're not allowed to include like chocolates and full-fat crisps in the meal deals. It's all like the healthy snacks. Kind of sad sometimes.
Ridiculous. America's a free country. We can eat whatever we want as we're dying from sugar overdose.
I don't think, when was the last time I drank sugar?
We actually, as a side note, we now have a policy in most hospitals that if somebody comes in for some diabetic thing where their sugars aren't controlled, once they are controlled, we actually just let them eat whatever they want so we can come up with an insulin regimen to match what they're going to be eating rather than try to control their food in the hospital.
It's personalized medicine. I think that was the dream.
It's so exciting for you, for all the new things that you can publish.
Yeah,
Do you hear all this nonsense? They're coming out with some new journal, the Kennedy people, and they've stopped funding the Lancet and New England because they're going to start calling these propaganda papers.
Let's
say
change
they're
this because Arafat, we've already had one video taken off of YouTube for political commentating, so we can't.
Yeah, that was true. We literally didn't say anything. We had a video that was taken off YouTube in America because we mentioned a
famous politician who has 2 letters as his first name.
His name might mean the same thing as farting. And he just got a very nice plane, apparently. We're not allowed to talk about him on YouTube's new rules. How weird is that?
Yeah, it is. We didn't even say anything bad. We just mentioned.
Yeah, we just mentioned his name. He was at this race. And it took us down. So yeah, free country, free speech, yeah.
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 Take that back, man. I don't know.
Hold on. So what's podcast snacks have you both got? Since I have my liquid cane sugar. I see both of you eating on camera.
Yeah, I'm eating.
Yeah,
I couldn't find any savory snacks, so I've stolen my children's teddy bear turkey slices.
Perfect. Lunch meat
fruit pastilles.
And fruit pastilles. Fruit pastilles I would take in a heartbeat.
Mailing care packages, and they used to buy towards my sister. Which is kind of a subtle burn because I think she was kind of saying you don't really need snacks, dude. When we were younger, she used to send us skin creams in the mail, and that was pretty subtle burn as well. It was well intentioned, but it was also dang, mom, okay. But now I'm pretty happy about that. Got that and this Jude Bellingham Lucozade Sport.
Yeah, the drinks are incredible. All right, so that's podcast snacks. Before Monaco, we made some predictions, right, Arafat?
Oh yeah. Shall we quickly run through our prediction? So I tell you the news as well.
Steak is
probably splitting up. Audi doesn't want anything to do with Steak because Steak are crazy people. Weird liveries that nobody likes. And they're trying to negotiate a deal with another team. And most teams are like, no, you're crazy people. We don't want anything to do with you. But that means they will likely end up on Alpine.
But Steak doesn't own.
No, they're a title sponsor.
Yeah,
that's the thing. So now that Audi's taken over, they want to drop Steak as a sponsor. They're like, we'd rather just not be associated with you.
Well, they might be getting
and other teams are wary of them as well.
Here's the thing with Steak, right? I'm on the internet a lot, and anytime you get a funny reel, it's always Steak has paid for their little banner to be at the bottom of it. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah, all
Gamble
the time.
responsibly.
How have they done that?
Steak. It's so annoying. Yeah. It bothers me so much. So I want to make a viral video that gets super... when we talked about when you were in Singapore, we recorded an episode and we made a video about Toto the toilet. Do you remember that? That video went pretty viral. It had a couple thousand views on YouTube. It's actually probably our most viral video. I want Steak to sponsor us for that. I want it to be a Steak video. Just because, how come I'm not getting these deals? I want to get sponsored by Steak with the funny video. Am I not funny enough? Come on, Steak.
That's very fun.
Number 2, more exciting news. You know how Formula 1 wants to have a race in Africa?
Yeah.
Morocco has stepped into the fold and said, we are ready.
Really?
I support that actually more than South Africa because South Africa is a track from before. It's kind of untested. We don't know how it's going to be. But I think in Morocco, there's a lot of room, with the desert being there, to custom build a track. And I think that could be really exciting.
Yeah, cool.
A custom built track.
Have you been to Morocco?
Yes.
I have not. I don't know anything about Morocco.
My only anecdote that I actually had plenty of great times, but the standout anecdote for me was that I ate things I didn't expect to because my French isn't very good. So I would just be at these barbecue pits and be like, oh, I'll get the second cheapest thing because the cheapest thing is probably sketchy. And that was how I accidentally ate spleen for the first time because I didn't know what the French word for it was. It's pretty good.
Amazing.
Honestly, yeah, beautiful.
Yeah.
Great time.
So I've I've got a thing here. It says the Moroccan project is a permanent circuit to be built at Al Huara,
See, I like that
south
permanent
of
circuit.
Tangiers. 1.5 billion development, 1,600 acres on the Atlantic coast. Similar in many respects to Yas Marina in Abu Dhabi, with a complex of hotels, housing, an arena for big events, a theme park, a mall, a convention center, and a
Wow.
racing circuit.
All right, they may have made this too big.
Wow.
This may not work out.
That's like a Qiddiya level, like in
Yeah, that's exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
Al Qiddiya.
Wow. Okay, cool. I mean,
I think
these
we
purpose-built ones should be good. I mean, as long as they're not just street tracks. I'm into it.
exactly. I think we've raced in Morocco before, right? I feel like a long time ago there was a Moroccan race. They did it 1 year, and then that was it. And it was like, can you look it up? I know you're already on the computer. Or maybe what was it something else then? I thought, but
Moroccan
I
Grand Prix, yeah, first
Yes,
organized
there you go.
1925.
Yeah, 1925.
Official in 1925, 1930, and the last time they ran it was 1958. Oh, because we talked about 1958 for some reason at one point.
Yeah, I
We
think
talked about this season a
this
long
season,
time ago.
yeah, and that's when we talked
like,
about
our
them having
first-
raced in Morocco. I was
like,
like, how did I know
4
that?
years ago, we
I don't
talked about
know
this
anything
race.
else.
Because I talked about it and forgot about it. That's how you know it.
It's pretty cool though. I think it would be fun to go back. I think I like the idea of a Western African nation doing it, because I think we need to move a little bit away from the Middle East. I know Morocco's like MENA, so it's like technically, but we need less races in the Middle East. We need to close down of Saudi, Bahrain, and the UAE. I think we need to close like 2 of them.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like, obviously, UAE must be paying quite a bit to always get to be the finale, but
Yeah.
it's not a good race, and that it gives me no pleasure to say.
No, I'd drop that one. I'd keep the Bahrain circuit.
Yeah, Bahrain is all right.
I think we should drop Saudi too, even though they're gonna make this Al Qiddiya track where you're supposed to like drive off the rails. You know, have you seen the turn one? It's like
That's pretty scary.
Yeah, Rainbow Road.
Guys, for Monaco, like, I know we're all out of ideas and there's no hope, but can we just take the chicane out at least? Because the chicane seems to be the one passing point. Like, is it ruinous without it? I don't remember why it's necessary.
so. Last year we discussed this,
Yeah.
and the solution we came up with, well, not solution, but the reason we figured out we can't take out the chicane is because it would just make the race just high speed the whole time. There would be no flavor to it. That was what people had said online. Like, it's just gonna make it like just like a rubber band, you know, like it should.
So, shall we get into how we change Monaco? Or do you want to go through our predictions?
Let's talk about how to change Monaco. Then we talk about our
Yeah.
predictions.
So, how we change Monaco? Alex Wirtz, who's like president of the Grand Prix Driver Association or whatever, has proposed 3 changes that he thinks would fix it. So, one of them is the chicane actually moves further away from the tunnel. So you leave the tunnel and you build up to a higher speed. And then they've changed the shape of the chicane and he suggests building an artificial road out over the water and then back onto the track again,
Whoa.
which is more 90 degrees. Think like, like turn 1 at Baku. So big high speed straight and then a left 90 degree turn. So he reckons you could dive bomb down the inside there. Option 2, they wanted to widen the exit of the hairpin, and he reckons that could become an overtaking spot. And there's something else. I think it was Raskas changed the angle slightly, but I didn't understand how that would help.
None of the angle stuff works. The only thing that'll change it is if they build onto the ocean.
Okay.
Which is what that idea is, for it to move the chicane into the ocean.
Yeah, I don't know how they would do it.
Yeah.
And they need to do it in a way that if it's high speed and the risk is crashing out, you would crash into the oceans.
I mean, Dubai, so much of it is on the ocean. I think they'd manage.
What do you think, Adam? How would you fix
Monaco? I mean, obviously that I need that kind of chicane correction. I just want to take it out and see how that goes. And the other thing that I think is ideal is probably like minimum lap times. Like, there has to be a solution for this holding people up.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call them, minimum delta, whatever. I mean, I know that it's unprecedented, but that's how we have to treat Monaco, right? Just if we make it 3 stops, whatever, anything else that's unprecedented, you still have to treat Monaco differently. Like, my
I have a new idea.
feeling is that it's probably not savable. Like, my solution would be, okay, you need to feel like an aristocrat. The San Marino Grand Prix is back forever, and Monaco's gone. I completely forgot that this was the last Imola Grand Prix, and that's far more unacceptable. So
Yeah.
long live the San Marino Grand Prix.
I just had an idea. Remember a few years ago they trialed this thing where for qualifying everyone would just be out all the time, and then the person in 20th place would be eliminated, then 19th, then 18th, and 17th.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they did that for one race, and it was so boring that because if you had a fast car, you'd go out, set a fast lap, and then sit in the garage and do nothing until 18 other people were eliminated, and then you'd go out again.
Okay.
So most of the cars were just inside the whole time, and they were like, no, this has done the opposite. Whereas actually, like you said, Monaco Grand Prix, you run it, but I think what they should do is have all 20 cars going around, and then after 5 laps, whoever has the slowest time gets eliminated, and then just keep doing that until someone is last man standing.
Yeah.
If you're not the person that set the fastest lap, you're out.
I actually do like the idea of a time trial and just make the entire weekend a time trial.
Yeah.
That's actually how I would fix it. Just remove the racing, and it's just whoever sets the fastest, whoever has the best 1 lap speed, they're the one who win it. I don't know. It's the culture. The whole race is just about the culture. It's actually not about the racing anymore.
Yeah, it's not about the race. We all complain. Everybody always complains the race is terrible. Monaco, for whatever reason, is really cheap. F1 charges circuits however many, 25 million or something. And most places, the reason we have all these Middle Eastern races is because to be able to afford one, you need government support.
Mm-hmm.
Monaco gets their race for cheap. It's 10 million or something. And across the 3 days, the town itself makes over 100 million in terms of hotels and meals and whatever. So from a business point of view, that's not going to go away. Now, I used to think it's also not going to go away because 100 million, but all the other business deals that are happening on the yachts and all these people coming together and stuff, that'll be more than 100 million.
Yeah.
Probably spending more than 100 million on cocaine. But
I mean, it's happening.
What I thought was interesting is Joe Sayward, in his blog this week, he wrote, Monaco's losing its shine, and a lot of these big names and big sponsors that used to come to make deals are all showing up in Singapore and Las Vegas instead, because at least you have room to have business meetings and this and that. So he goes, hopefully the people in Monaco will start to notice and stop thinking that they have the greatest race in the world.
That's interesting. Yeah. On the BBC interview, Nui was saying, per my contract, I was eligible to have Imola be my first race with the team, but why would I when Monaco's coming up? And honestly, bro, you were already probably there on your yacht.
Exactly. So I was already hearing when the one who must not be named, because we'll get our video taken off of YouTube, when he showed up to Miami, I think last year, they were already talking about F1 and the state of Florida had to come up with ground rules over what could and could not be discussed, because there are certain things by our election laws that can't be discussed in certain venues. And so they wanted to do a fundraiser. They couldn't do a fundraiser, so instead they just did a bunch of backroom deals. But that was already happening in Miami, and all these races, Vegas, Miami, Singapore, are already competing to be the next one. Jeddah is. I had a friend who went to the first Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, the opening year, and he told me it was kind of the same thing. He's there was a bunch of people on their yachts, and you just got the vibe that there was a lot of backroom deals being made on the yachts. Nobody was actually sitting there watching the race. So Saudi Arabia is doing that too. So everyone wants that, and F1 has always been about money. Anytime we talk about the history, all we can conclude is that it's about the money. But can you also just give us good racing at the same time? We won't complain about the money if there's good racing.
Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, I don't think it's solvable anymore. The cars are never going to get that small. It would seem even the next regs don't have it. You can consider the mandatory pit stops with the time delta, but I'd rather just have us move to San Marino.
All right, next question. Did the mandatory 2-stop work?
Not at all. Not at all.
Can I go through my predictions? I'll tell you my predictions, and then we can laugh about the 2-stop thing. So I said, number 1, Norris bottles it, but because he bottles it usually, the double bottle cancels itself out and he wins. So I was right about that. Extra pit stop, don't add excitement, but disadvantage random midfield teams. I was right about that.
Okay.
Stroll hits a wall. I mean, that didn't happen, but I can't blame you for trying. Fastest lap was 1 minute 20. I was wrong about that. Safety car causes Russell to finish P3. That didn't happen. There wasn't even a safety car. But Russell was entertaining nonetheless. Hamilton finished P7. Wrong about that. Zach Brown is super annoying. It's a bit like saying sky is blue. Alonso scores his first points. That didn't happen.
My God,
Worst season he's ever having.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a tough season for him.
I can't tell if he's
And then I said,
stressed or doesn't care at all.
yeah, I think he's stressed out about it. And then I wrote, Hadger's the only rookie to score points. So technically, yes, he was. I think he did very, very well. He's never driven Monaco before, apparently. But
yeah, he has.
Liam Lawson also has he?
He had that very famous video of going down the tunnel, and then I think somebody else was stopped in front of him because their car had stalled, and he had the reflexes to get around.
He's never driven at Monaco in an F1 car.
That's
because I was like,
the whole season is new.
When I saw the fact,
car.
I was like, that doesn't sound right. But yeah, so he never driven in an F1 car, so he did well. And then finally, what did I say? Yeah, he's the only rookie to score points. So Lawson scored points. Do we think Lawson is a rookie? Yes, no.
The graphics
I said yes.
Him a rookie again. And the graphics don't lie. They say things like Franz Hermann, so they would never lie to us.
Yeah. Because the graphics call him a rookie, but I don't know if I call him a rookie.
Yeah,
but I don't know what the definition of a rookie is anymore.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would say spiritually he's not a rookie, but I have to fall in line with the graphics. He did great.
This is his third season.
I think you crushed it anyway, like, honestly. So just for the context for the viewers, listeners, so Arafat just suddenly said, like, make 10 semi-plausible predictions, go. And we won't tell each other until we're settled. So, did you say all yours? I think I've just pulled mine up here.
Yeah.
So how many did you get right? How many did you get right? Just so we have a number, so we can... Because I'm going to do mine and Adam will do his.
So I got 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 if we don't say Lawson is a rookie.
Okay, cool. I think I have 4 or 5, so we're kind of all... Maybe it is. Maybe Mohammed actually won.
Ooh. All right, go through yours.
Okay, so mine was Lance either finishes in the points or blows up. No, unless you're talking about blow up on social media because he had the only overtake, so maybe we're back. Yuki ahead of the Arafat.
Very good.
That is like absolutely the most heartbreaking no. Like just what am I even watching anymore? No one who qualified top 3 finishes top 3. That was pipe dream, but I really wanted to believe that something crazy would happen. A safety car, a red flag. Russell does nothing, gains places. Meme. Technically true.
We both said that, but he didn't get on the podium.
No, I just said gain places. I had to be safe after some of those old ones. Then I said Albon equal or better to best Williams finish. Unfortunately, no. This is the one I can't confirm because I wasn't paying enough attention given how boring the race was. I wrote shows Jack or Paul in the garage once Franco stinks it up. I hope that was true, but I didn't actually see if they had panned Paul Aaron.
He's the one that Ollie Oaks wanted in the Alpine.
Their actual driver.
Yeah.
5 teams pit lap 1. It wasn't 5, it was 3, I think.
No. Yeah.
Alex Jakes says Scarlet Ferrari or Papaya McLaren. I think that actually took him until the second last lap. I almost missed. That's a guarantee. Like, we knew it was going to come. And then someone calls Monaco iconic, which was, again, last lap. I can't remember if it was Julian or Alex, but someone always does it.
Yeah.
There are no other words that any entertainment journalist of any kind uses other than iconic, like across all of sport, TV, video games.
Jewel in the crown. God, what a dull crown.
Yeah, I know. I'm not sure. So that was either 4 or 5. I'm not really exactly sure. There was a jewel in the crown. It was the Indy 500, which kind of ruled this year.
Good. I watched the end of it because I forgot that it was happening.
There were
I'm going to go through
disqualifications-ish and post-disqualifications in almost equal number. It was carnage.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm going to do my 10. I actually counted how many I got right. But some of them are... I'll let you guys decide whether I get to count them as right or not. And to be fair, I made these like as they were going over the starting grid of the race because I was just so mad that it was a Monaco weekend that I couldn't even get myself to make predictions. So right as they were doing the grid, I was like, oh, let me type out my predictions. So my predictions are someone hits the wall. I got that right. Bortoleto hit the wall. The pole sitter doesn't win the race. That didn't happen. Lando won the race. Lewis makes up places, which he did make up 2 places, which is pretty impressive in Monaco when nobody can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's funny that Lewis Hamilton fans still consider him to have had a poor race. Made up 2 places. Charles is on the podium, but he should have won. I said that initially. I got that one right. But it's really like, how do you define he should have won? Because I was thinking at the beginning, if he had overtaken Lando, which in any other track he would have won the race.
No,
but
the
I
other
don't know.
track he wouldn't have, because Lando had crazy amounts of pace in the car and he was just holding back. Because as soon as Max did it, he took off.
All right, fine. So I will consider that.
Max didn't fully sandwich them like whatever that race was where Lewis did it to Nico.
Mm-hmm.
You got to do what you got to do. That would have been ingenious. I think Max should have backed all the way up into him. Because he would have tried.
All right, so
wouldn't have been able, like the red mist would have descended on Charles and they would have crashed and both gone out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So I'm going to say that I didn't get that right. One of the Haas car crashes, and that didn't happen. A safety car happens at a bad time for Lewis. So I initially said I got this right because I felt that the VSC came out way too early for Lewis to take advantage of it. So I'm going to go ahead and say I got that one right.
And then it turns out nothing.
Oscar has a good race. That one I'm not sure about. Would you guys say Oscar had a good race?
No.
Somebody on the race said he had the worst race of the season so far.
No one had a good race.
Well, there's that, but I think with McLaren, if you're not 1-2, then you've had a bad race at this point.
Okay, so he didn't have a
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that we're saying that? Like 2 years ago, they
crazy.
didn't win a single race and were like P4 in the championship. And we're like, oh, who's going to finish ahead, Alpine or McLaren? And now we're like, oh yeah, of course, McLaren should win everything. Like, how have we done that in 2 years?
I don't know. It actually really
Without a
depresses
rule change
me.
in the middle.
Yeah, honestly.
No,
It
it's
actually-
like I think it's really impressive.
I think it's really
Yeah, I mean,
depressing.
kudos where they're due, and honestly, I feel like it can't literally be one person, but it feels like in my heart it's all Rob Marshall, and I lament his departure from Red Bull forever.
Yes, maybe. Okay, and then I have a couple more left. It was a boring race, i.e. 2-stop doesn't work, which that's accurate. Ollie Behrman goes long, which he did. And my last one was the winner dives in the pool. Did Lando dive in the pool? I don't think he did. I feel like I would have seen pictures of it. I'm just gonna.
that point.
Red Bull's cool. I think you're just used to Red Bull winning. I think the other people have to go in the harbor like Charles did.
Yeah, let me see if he did he dive in the harbor. Did Lando dive in the harbor? He did not. So I got that one wrong. So altogether, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 of them right. So me and Adam, I think, tied.
We tied.
Monaco, because you tied, there's no winner. Because none of us won in that situation.
We absolutely did not. Guys, I like, for behind inside baseball, whatever you call it, inside cricket for our non-denominational listeners. Like, I was supposed to be on last week, and what I was going to say if I could have shown up was, like, I do not feel heartened by Max's win in Imola. We are not... Its championship is not back on.
No.
I'd just like to confirm, championship is not back on. And also...
No, correct.
As a Yuki fan, I'm especially sad because, like,
And my heart breaks for you.
like all these like Lewis Hamilton fans, you people.
Yeah,
talking
us.
about
Continue.
Hamilton fans.
you people. You're always talking about he got a worse car. Mercedes give him a worse. There's a conspiracy. This is a worse Ferrari. That's possible because I bet you the Ferrari team cannot make identical cars. Like, genuinely, it's not the way that goes. But you guys get to say that. But Yuki, literally 5 kilograms of like mysterious ballast. They just have to put crumpled newspaper into like I don't know, but he literally cannot have the same car because of how small he is. Literally.
Yeah.
So that conspiracy
Poor
theory
guy.
is true in his case. And like, I don't know if it affects anything. Probably it doesn't because Liam had his issues and Checo had his issues and it's just a really dumb car. But if you want to hone on that specific conspiracy, Yuki genuinely doesn't have the same car. And he's also running different specs that they've said he won't catch up to Max's build for like 2 or 3 races.
So
This feels like
I'm hearing from both Red Bull and Mercedes. They've both given up on this season and are now focusing on 2026.
I think Red Bull's been said that they're going to aggressively develop because the Ford powertrain is so hopeless that they may as well. That's my
Okay, maybe it was just Mercedes then. I know for sure Toto was saying that he's given up and he's just looking at 2026 and they're not going to develop anymore.
I think all teams have. The only difference is if there's something mechanical you can work on that can be carried over onto the next car, rear suspension, for example, then yes. Whereas anything else that doesn't have any carryover is now being abandoned.
Whereas Ferrari apparently are working on the 2024 car because they realized that, no, I'm not even joking, they realized that it was a bit better in certain ways. So for Spain, they're bringing back a piece of the 20. I wish I was joking. Like, that seems like the perfect kind of thing to make up.
It's so painful.
It's so, like,
it's
why
so
did they
painful.
do this? Why did they decide we're going to go with a new concept for the last regulations? This should have been an RB16B situation. You had something that was pretty good.
Yeah. Do you know what's weird? I'm gonna bring it to football for a second, just before home time.
Okay.
Like, you know, people that were historically Man United fans and saw like them go through all the good times.
Yeah.
And now like Man United are terrible.
People, yeah.
Yeah, and they lost to like some random like Malaysian Asian superstar team or something, and were booed off the pitch. And their manager was like, "No, it's good that we're being booed." You know, in the UK, even though we played terrible, the fans were always with us. I'm glad people are booing us because it will help the team learn that they need to be better. And I was like, one, this manager sounds like totally unhinged and insane, but great.
This new guy, right?
I was thinking about it, and I was like, us coming to be Ferrari fans is like us joining Man United bandwagon now at this stage and not 10 years ago. It's like, what are we doing?
Oh, I was gonna ask you guys. Okay, since we're talking about football, I was gonna genuinely ask you guys. So I watched in America it's on Hulu, in the UK it's on Disney Plus documentary Welcome to Wrexham. Have you guys heard of this?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, I watched like the first 6 episodes or something.
I'm sure it's cool.
You've heard of it.
Yeah.
So for people who don't know what it is, Rob McElhenney, who is an American comedian, stars in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and Ryan Reynolds, who's a big famous Hollywood actor, got together to buy Wrexham AFC. Canadian actor, that's right. They got together.
Just like they bought Alpine F1, but have not
They're
had the same level of success.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone bought Alpine F1. Like, you look at the list of people that bought Alpine F1, like, what's his name's on it? Patrick Mahomes is on there, like, Travis Kelce's on there. Like, everybody bought that. But anyway.
Your two little people that you mentioned were both at Monaco.
We also bought Alpine F1. Sorry.
Yeah. So, yeah, the people that you just mentioned, Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce, were both at Monaco because their team owner, Clark Hunt, is supposedly the investor and money behind Otmar Snafsauer. So this is the guy that owns Kansas City Chiefs, yeah, and FC Dallas.
Wow. Okay, so before we unpack that, I'm going to finish my point, though. So they, just talking about the show, they bought this club and their goal was to take it from out of professional football into the Premier League. That was their whole thing. And right now they're at the championship, which is the second tier, and then they'd have one more to go. But watching this show, one of the things that they do, and they're very good about, is essentially firing people who aren't good at their jobs and hiring people who are very good at their jobs. And by doing that, not just the players, but the admin, the coaching staff, the physios, like, by doing that, like, overall with the players and with everybody else, they've created this team that is like way better than the team it was before, and that's now won back-to-back promotion. So my question is, why isn't Ferrari doing that? Have they not fired Adamy? And why haven't they fired half these people and started to bring it and get serious about it, right? Like, I feel like you need that to get serious.
I have an answer. It was Fred Vasseur. I remember he did an interview a while ago. Or was it the one before him with the glasses? What was his name?
Mattia.
Yeah.
Benotto.
So one of them, I can't remember who was saying it. They were saying, when you work for another team, you spend a little bit of time on recruitment or whatever. But he said, since I've come to Ferrari, I'm spending 50% of my time on recruitment because everybody, with the other teams, although the flags are like Germany, France, whatever, they're all kind of near each other in the middle of England.
Mm-hmm.
And so if someone wants to change team, they don't necessarily have to take their kids out of school, buy a new house, all of that. They can just, hey, I'm going to commute in a different direction. Whereas the commitment to go to Ferrari is, hey, I'm going to learn a new language and move to a different country and this and this and this and this. And so it requires much more commitment, which is hard for people to sign on with. Ferrari struggle with recruitment.
Yeah, even
no, they
Newey ostensibly is like he was just not going to move at age 70.
However, they have unlimited money, and they could just pay people enough to make them want to come.
That less unlimited than Mercedes, ostensibly. Okay, I need to ask a question now that I promised to ask, and I almost forgot until you mentioned it here. Some like turbo meanie, like Jacques Villeneuve or something, one of those guys, I can't remember who it is anymore, gave an interview or punditry more than a year ago, and I remember him saying, like, why on earth did they pick Fred Vasseur? He didn't make Alfa Romeo any better his entire tenure. Is it time that we start asking that, or do we give him more time?
So the Charles Leclerc fans, that half of the Ferrari fandom, has been like shouting it from the rooftops this entire year. The Lewis Hamilton half, us, we're just happy to be here, and we have not raised any cries to fire Frederick Vasseur. We're like barely. We've just now started asking for them to fire Riccardo Adami because he's just a terrible race engineer. But in reality, they probably both need to go. This is what I mean to make a championship-winning team.
Is like, so Xavi was the worst. Xavi's gone. Now we have Brian Bozzi, who doesn't seem much better. That's the concern I think that there is like, you can get rid of Adami, you can get rid of Rueda. I was calling for all that stuff too. But it seems like the replacements are of similar quality. So maybe that's also the reason why you don't sideline Adami, is because his understudy came from the same school of the same clown college, you know? Like,
can we?
I know people are like, stupid. Oh, Lewis should take Bono to Ferrari and whatever, you know, contracts and this and that, whatever. But I think one of the problems is the engineer needs to be able to talk to the car side and the driver, and I think actually that needs to come from within Ferrari, because that person needs to have the communication and understanding of that car and how to develop it and tweak it.
You probably literally have
I don't think you could bring an outsider in.
Yeah. You'd need they probably literally have to speak Italian still too. How do you get that?
So I think that has to come from within Ferrari. I don't think Bono would be the right choice, because yes, his communication with Lewis is perfect, but then he would need to turn around and say to the team, we need X, Y, Z, and that's a different thing.
Or you need like basically the engineer equivalent of Andrea Stella. You need somebody who speaks Italian but thinks British.
Do you think that Frederick Vasseur is saying that, oh no, Adami didn't respond to Lewis because he was at the part of the track where we don't respond to the drivers? Do you guys buy that?
Yeah, I've heard of their actually.
No, that was total nonsense.
No? Okay.
Because it doesn't make sense. It's like
kind of sad. Like, I'm listening back to that radio where it's just dead silent and he goes, whatever, like, are you mad at me or something?
Are you mad at me? Yeah. Like, it's insane. The whole thing is insane.
Like one of the world's richest athletes, but it absolutely was. I was like, come on. I really didn't like it.
Yep. So for the people who don't know, as Lewis was on his cooldown lap, he said something to Riccardo Adami, and then he didn't respond. Then he was like, "Are you mad at me?" And then he still didn't respond. So everyone's like, "What is this passive aggressive, like insecure, girlfriend type behaviors?"
Yeah.
And then Frederick Vasseur said, "Oh no, there was no bad feelings. He just didn't respond because he's at a part of the track where we don't talk to the drivers because the communication is bad."
Yeah, but he's not on a racing lap, is he? He's on a cooldown lap. Talk to him.
Yeah, I mean, like I have to admit that like some of the drivers in interviews, like Lando and Max, will say like, "Oh yeah, the media grabs onto every little thing, and there isn't as much discord as you think." And like, you know, Alex and George went off on a dinner date immediately, and we're back in love.
Yeah, and Alex paid.
And that was extremely cute. And then like obviously, Lando and Max are still partying together, and that's fine. So I admit that we probably do blow things up, but on the other hand, I mentioned to you guys in the chat during quali, you know, when Lewis got dinged for impeding, and in his case and in Lance's case, probably both not their fault and should have had way better communication. Like Sir Lewis Hamilton, the gentle knight, like doesn't tend to swear on the radio, and they had to bleep him out in his exchange with Ricciardo. So like, there could genuinely be some tension and there may be some non-confidence.
Also, talking about firing him, like that's actually a mistake that cost the podium, because had Lewis not gotten his penalty, he would have been in fourth, And with this 2-stop thing, it's possible he could have overtaken Oscar. Maybe we don't know, but it has a better chance of doing that than from 7th. And
yeah, that was such a mess. I felt for him there. Like, it really sucks around Monaco. Yeah, you have to be careful about these personnel changes. Like, Hugh Bird, every Mexican fan on the planet was against Hugh Bird as Checo's engineer because they thought that had to be the problem he had, and he was being sabotaged from within, etc. And now, because that sort of worked, they I don't like, it's very opaque, but they seem to kind of give him some lateral promotion when he went on paternity. And now Yuki has a race engineer he literally can't understand because he's Scottish. There are interviews about it. He's like, we just genuinely misunderstand each other because we're Japanese and Scottish, and I just don't know what's happening. And now, so he's got he just finally got to the big team. He's got a totally new engineer who's a noob himself to all the processes. I'm kind of into it, obviously, as someone biased towards the Scots, but I can really see, a lot of this, and then the fan base really seems to attack the race engineers for sure.
what do you make of the whole James Vowles Toto Wolff thing?
Nah, they were just teasing, I think. Yeah, I mean, Monaco is just I genuinely think that in both cases, George and Alex, Toto and James, they were probably genuinely annoyed at the time, but hours later you go, oh my God, this is Monaco's fault. Monaco's turning us against each other. It's destroying some of the most beautiful friendships in the history of F1 because of how horrible it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
This is Monaco's fault. It's the fault of everyone who lives here. It's the fault of everyone who's ever invented or thought about Monaco.
Why is it its own country? I don't understand how you can have this sliver of land just be its own country. It should be part of France.
It's a principality.
It should be part of France. That's right. I said it.
San Marino is its own country, so you can get mad at that instead. One of the funniest, of all of the central casting things that Mohammed has to do as his character is you basically once per episode say, "I'm so mad about something," but you don't seem mad at all. And that's your whole thing. It's the best.
That's true.
Mildest mad guy. He's like the Taco Bell of spicy. It's good.
The Taco Bell, have you guys, okay, I don't know in the UK, do you guys have the 7 different levels of spicy packet for the Taco Bell? It's funny for me because
they're relatively new.
Oh really? That's insane. But anyway, if you go from least spicy to most spicy, it just never gets spicy. It's very frustrating. It's like a frustrating version of hot wings where you just, instead of getting spicier, you just get to the end and you're like, it never got spicy. So
I see. Canada, we've always had the nacho fries, since day one. That's been our...
Oh, those are so good.
Yeah.
Those are so good.
I take them for granted. I can nacho fry any day and always have. Baja
I remember once...
Blood type, brother. What are we talking about?
I remember once I got a commercial. It was back by popular demand, the nacho fries, and I was like, when were those gone? Why did you make them go away? Everyone loves the nacho fries.
It's an American thing, though. You have to take things away and bring them back to get people excited. People cannot have the McRib all the time, and they cannot have whatever.
Hey man, it's just a couple short months until in the hospital everybody's gonna get their McRib and their nacho fries, and that's gonna be the meal that we serve.
The cyclical one that gets me is the Shamrock Shake, a minty McDonald's. Girl, the boycott, I get it, okay, but outside of those times, you gotta have your mint milkshake. It's as a child in my childhood, mighty fine.
We've now fully stopped talking about Monaco. I don't know if there's anything else to.
Yeah, but we can't because
nothing ever to say about Monaco.
Each other.
Do you know what, guys? We'll just quickly record some scenes that we can use later. So, hi everyone, welcome to Slow Pit Stop 2026. We just had the Monaco Grand Prix and it was boring. Okay. Hi everyone, welcome to Slow Pit Stop 2027. We just had the Monaco Grand Prix and it was boring. Hi everyone, welcome to Slow Pit Stop 2028. We just had the Monaco Grand Prix and it was boring. The end.
I just remember that I think 2 years ago it actually rained in Monaco, and even with the rain, it was still a boring race. Do you remember that?
Still boring.
With Carlos Sainz chasing for first the whole time, and he couldn't do anything about it. It was so dumb.
I mean, it was entertaining only because Xavi was such a disaster back then. actually hurt. It was actually painful. Yeah, I
All right,
think we
guys.
have to resolve to
Right.
never talk about Monaco again, even when we have to, because eventually
Yeah.
we will be Toto and James, and we won't understand why we hate each other, and that'll be genuinely very sad.
Exactly.
No, guys. Next year we're
instead of the
also
Monaco
going to
Grand
talk
Prix,
about.
we'll do.
No, next year we're also going to talk about how we're going to fix Monaco, since that's all we talk
Yeah,
about.
Yeah,
exactly.
you're right. It's going
That's
to be
all we
this
talk about
Groundhog
every
Day
year.
thing where we keep forgetting, and we just go, the chicane, guys, the chicane.
What
Remove
about
the
3
chicane.
stops? What about 3 stops?
What about La Nouvelle Chicane?
Yeah, just put 2 of them together and just.
Oh God.
Or the
We go to Spain next. Do you think Spain is going to be any better?
usually not. I mean, okay,
No.
it's relative term.
But I have a man on the inside who's going to be on next week. I have a colleague going to the Spanish Grand Prix.
Ooh, is it me?
It's going to be his
Am I
first
your
ever
colleague?
Grand Prix. That's not you. You're not my colleague. You're my relative. So yeah, he's going to his first ever Grand Prix. So we'll hear from him next week and how he finds it.
Oh, so it's not Adam, because Adam has been to other Grand Prix before. Grand
And also
Prix.
not my colleague.
You've been to 2 Spain
Stay tuned.
ones?
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Adam is the one in our friend group who randomly shows up to a
Yeah.
Grand Prix. He'll just
Where
be
will
in
he be
China
this
and be
year?
like, guys, I'm in a Grand Prix now. So
Yeah,
how did you
that's right.
get there?
Well, I was in the pit lane, right? I was in the medical area next to the pit lane. That was a wild time.
Yeah.
That's actually so cool.
I saw Yuki get scootered away after his crash, and I couldn't believe how small he was. Genuinely. He is just that
Yeah.
hamster with the crying eyes and the violin playing meme. He's just,
Yeah.
this is who you're being meme.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for joining us on this episode that we basically forced ourselves to record because we hate Monaco. Hopefully, we'll see you again after Spain, but who knows at this point. Bye.
New Spanish.
Bye.
Bye.